I'm ready to play some NetHack. You ready to play some NetHack?
Ready?
We're going to start right there. As soon as I can find my terminal, let's see. But why don't we do a little recap of what we did last week? People probably expect rocky intros at this point after we've done like 8 of these.
You basically finished the mines.
Yes, I did.
You went down as far as you could anyway.
You told me you could totally ascend this character, meaning you could finish a run with this character. But
yeah, absolutely. I think you're off to a good start. There's a billion gotchas between you and the end of the game that you don't know anything about, but you're definitely off to a good start. Like anybody who knew all of the things that they need to know to ascend a character, I think would be happy at the start, but also probably wouldn't have some of the problems that you currently have, like fumbling all over the place and falling down every set of stairs.
So it's been 2 or maybe 3 episodes now with me stumbling around because of.
Oh, it's great. I mean, at this point, I feel like even if you figure out a way to remove that, you should just leave it. But
I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that. So it looks like I have gone through a good chunk of my rations. I thought I actually had more, but that must have eaten those and forgotten about it. But yeah, I did drop off a bunch of kind of junk items that I had. I was kind of at full inventory and was able to curse test a lot of stuff and determine that they were pretty much cursed. There's a lot of bad crap. So I got rid of a lot of that and came back to the town here. And I guess I should eat this lizard because why not?
So I have an idea. I was thinking a little bit about some of the stuff that that I've kind of taught you directly that I didn't really feel like you would learn on your own, or it might be really difficult to figure out on your own. Mm-hmm. So I had an idea to give you one per episode, give you one kind of like insight and have that be like a main kind of thing that I tell you about that episode.
That sounds pretty fair.
I had that idea because at the very end of the last one, I noticed when you were looking at your inventory that you actually have something really good that you kind of lucked out on. And I don't have any suspicion that you will know that it's any good or think that you have any way of knowing that it's actually really, really good. So if you go down to your potions here, it looks
Is this the thing you're going to go ahead and tell me? The thing
yeah,
now?
I think so. I think it makes sense too. So I actually don't see it for some reason. It might potentially be, did you leave a bunch of stuff behind or?
At some point I did, yeah. I actually thought I had more stuff than this when we finished, but...
Oh, you know what it was? Is I think we ended the last episode with you dropping a ton of stuff on an altar to see if it was cursed or uncursed. And so I think you're on that altar. So you should probably go back there because you have a ton of your items on the altar.
That would explain why my inventory seems so light. Yep.
Right. And among those was something very good.
And so we'll see if we get there, but we were talking about making this episode about Sokoban, which is the puzzle.
Yeah, it might make sense to try to actually end this episode getting to Sokoban and make the entire next episode trying to clear it out. Because I think it's probably going to take an episode's length if you don't make any huge mistakes to actually clear it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. I thought I just killed that leprechaun, but I guess I didn't. So here's the altar right here.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's objects.
Okay, so let's take a look.
There's my food.
You definitely want your food, yeah. So a couple cursed things, a couple blessed things, but the important one is you have quite a few of clear potions.
Yes,
but you have one that's blessed.
I do.
So. It might. I mean, it's painfully obvious, but I mean, obviously not. I guess it's not obvious if you don't know anything about it or anything about the descriptions. But clear potions are just water, right? At every game. So
I was going to guess holy water.
Exactly right. So I mean, basically, you have a bunch of regular potions of water, and you have a normal or sorry, you have a blessed potion of water, which is essentially holy water. So if I were you, I would. This is a good opportunity to use the call command just to try it out. So if you do you've already used it before for your pet, for example, but if you do the capital C for call,
Capital C.
you can actually use the type of an object in your inventory because you're going to set the general type, and then if you just name one of your clear potions, just flat out water.
Mm-hmm. So I'll do A.
More obvious. There you go. And so you have a blessed potion called water, which is essentially holy water for you, which is great and is actually extremely useful. And I want to tell you, I want you to. I think it's a good idea for you this episode to try out some of the properties of that.
All right.
First thing I'll say is, it might be a good idea to. So you have some fountains around here. Although I think the guards get mad at you for using these particular fountains. Can you do overview and see if you have any other fountains on any other levels that you've found?
I've definitely encountered some.
Yeah, so it looks like
4.
It looks like you've got one at the at level 4 that you can look at. Another thing is that there's actually a dungeon feature that is right around Sokoban, at least. Well, I'm speaking from knowledge of pre 3.6. I assume they wouldn't have changed that. But there's another dungeon feature there that will always have some guaranteed fountains. But before we mess around with those properties, I think it's probably a good idea to find a fountain that you can screw around with.
Okay.
So maybe just grab anything that you want to grab from
the ones here. I went ahead and picked up everything that I had on the altar there.
It doesn't look like it. I still see some stuff.
There was some cursed stuff.
Oh, okay.
That I left.
All right, that's fine. You can always come back for it.
Yeah. I think I can do without the cursed shit for now. Where's my other pet? I thought I had one on a... Oh, there he is.
Oh, you also have your pickaxe that you left there, which I'm not sure if you want to bring along with you also. Might be worth it.
Was that cursed?
No, I don't think so. It's just laying right there. You just walked over it.
Oh, right here?
Ooh, the leprechaun was killed. I bet you can get all your gold back.
Where is he?
Your cat killed him.
Oh, right there. Holy crap.
Oh. Doesn't look like he got... Maybe that's not the leprechaun that stole from you.
Yeah, I encountered one outside of the gnomish mines as well, or at least outside this town.
Yeah, I remember he stole a ton of gold from you.
Yeah, he stole like 2,000 gold or something. Maybe it was only 1,500, but yeah, it was a bunch. All right, so I'm going to head out of the mines as soon as my other cat gets up here, which might take a while. Rocky's out there just picking up loot. He picked up some shoes. All right. Let's go up. Oh, there's a gnome right here. Wait, I don't want to attack him.
Rocky wants to, though.
Rocky wants to attack everybody. Speaking of Rocky, have you seen Creed?
I haven't, but I've seen that you're a big fan.
Oh, it's so good, dude. I don't know if you...
I'm curious about it.
I don't know if you even like Rocky movies in general.
I mean, I like anything that's good.
I actually hadn't seen any movie in the Rocky series except the first one until a couple months ago.
I've seen them all at some point, including the one he did before this, which was just like also when he was old, but it was just like a standard Rocky movie.
Yep.
And I didn't really care for that one.
You didn't like that one too much? I thought Balboa was good.
I don't know.
Better than 5, that's for sure. Rocky Balboa 5 is that's a bad movie.
But I will check out this new one.
It's a lot different while still kind of paying homage to the legacy.
Sure.
It's a good movie. Michael B.
I like
Jordan,
Punch-Out.
Great actor. It's just like Punch-Out. It gives you the stats on the boxers and everything. What's that? Oh, it's a dwarvish stuff here.
Oh, it's just a random note on that stuff that you found there. Dwarvish mattock that you found there is actually also a pickaxe.
A pickaxe?
It's the same thing. It's slightly better than a pickaxe as a weapon, but you would really never use a pickaxe as a weapon.
unless you were
I
in
think,
dire
unless
straits.
you really, really wanted to.
Yeah,
But actually, it can serve as a pickaxe. Like if you're going in a game and you really need one and you find a mattock, you can use that instead. But if you have a pickaxe, it almost never makes sense to use it because it's just way heavier than the pickaxe.
gotcha.
But yeah, little note
I
for
think
maybe a
that's
future
just
game.
stuff that I left there after killing somebody.
Yeah, probably. Or after Rocky killed somebody, more likely.
Hey, I kill people too. Rocky's not the only one around here who can kill people. Ooh, level up.
Nice. You're getting up there, man.
And one thing that I found interesting in NetHack compared to, I guess, the typical RPG experience is when you look at oh shit, what's your skills again? It's
Enhance.
enhance. I've upgraded my longsword skill twice, but other than that, haven't increased any kind of ability. And it kind of makes sense because these are all specific like weapon traits.
Yeah, they're
Um,
basically all either spell or weapon skill, fighting skills.
but it's interesting that you're really only going to, I assume, maybe your experience is different. Only going to really be increasing like one of those or maybe two of those abilities throughout, a run of NetHack.
It depends on your class. Many more if you're doing some kind of spellcaster,
Mm.
because all of the different schools of magic have their own. Um,
Oh, I found him.
there he is, man. You
2,000
tripped. You
gold.
tripped over the gold too. You were so excited to get it
It,
back.
it was such a big stack.
Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're a spellcaster, you end up raising more of them because each school of magic has its own category.
Where'd my other pet go?
Another reason why you would potentially raise more than one for a non-magic class is, for example, if you like, let's say you're some kind of like, I don't know if you're a thief class or you're not a thief class, but you're using a weapon other than a dagger, but you still throw
Throw
daggers
daggers, yeah.
as like you keep a stack of daggers and you throw them as your ranged thing. You might potentially increase your dagger skill in addition to whatever else you're using, simply because actually having a higher skill for something that you're throwing increases like your hit rate and it also increases the amount that you'll throw at once. So like if you're an expert in dagger, you could throw like 2 or 3 daggers in one turn.
That would be useful.
Yeah, it could be really good.
And that is like the one other skill you can notice that I actually have you know, any training or
Yeah, I think maybe you must have
practice
started
in.
with that. I imagine. I
I've
guess
thrown
with
some
some practice.
shurikens. Does that count?
I think there might be a skill for that. Is there?
I don't think there's a
There is for
specific
darts.
one.
I think. It's it's possible that it's not even on this list because you will actually only see skills that you can even have any kind of skill in.
Huh. Okay.
So, like for instance, you see only a couple of magic schools there if you take a look.
Right. Yeah, there were only two on that page.
Ooh, that's good. You destroyed a paper golem,
Oh
got some
crap!
magic schools, which is great for you.
Holy crap! That's really cool.
Paper golems are good, man.
Did not even know that was a thing, and now I'm flush with scrolls. Well, well, well. Hmm. Now I'm God. Now I'm so torn. What do I do?
So I think you should still you can if you wanted to write some scrolls you could.
Oh, I do have a scroll of identify that I forgot about that I
Yep.
could use. These could also be
I'd
cursed,
keep it
couldn't they?
handy. Keep it handy actually,
These could be cursed. I forgot.
because the insight for today might potentially change what you want to do with that.
Interesting. I'm going to drop these ones that I just picked up and see. Oh, they seem fine with that.
They like them.
Yeah, they like them. Hell yeah. Is he still carrying one? Come on, Rocky. There we
Dude,
go.
Rocky wants to know what's going on with that scroll.
He's all about that scroll. Maybe I should make a couple more identify scrolls.
Could.
I could. I've got so many scrolls and potions that I could potentially use it on. Well, I guess I don't have that many scrolls, do I? 1, 2, 3.
I think you have more that were like cursed. You definitely found a ton on that bones level, but I think they were all cursed.
They were all cursed.
Um,
Poor cursed scrolls. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna make one more and then use it just for fun. Let's see. I gotta go to A to use, and then magic marker, and then I will write on an unlabeled scroll. Drop it, because every fucking time. So I have 2 emerald potions, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Or pick that, rather. Okay.
Don't recommend quaffing that.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can throw it at a monster.
Could, yeah. Could probably also dip a dart into it or something like that, or a dagger to coat it.
Can you do that with regular weapons as well?
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I tried to do something like that. So you're going to level 4, right? For the fountain?
Yeah, I'm probably there now. Well, I had to get out of the mines.
No, you're actually at level... You exited the mines at level 3.
Oh, I went all the way up to 2.
Yeah.
Whoops. Then yeah, I guess I should go ahead and go back down. Fall down, I mean.
Hey, you're not losing many hit points anymore. You're tough enough. You've become tough enough to withstand falling down the stairs.
Now let's see, was this the mines? The other one was the mines, right?
I think so.
It'll be easy to tell. Come on. God, every time.
There you go. I see your fountain.
Yep. Okay.
All right, so let's go to the fountain.
Top left over there. Is it, I want to do the teleport. That was underscore, right? Yeah.
You could just type the key, too, and it will go there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's useless with this clumsiness.
You floundered.
All right.
All right, so in the same way that you dipped your Excalibur, or dipped your longsword to become Excalibur, let's try dipping one of the potions that you've identified that we think are worthless. I think probably the sickness are a perfect use of that. So let's take a look at it in your inventory now. So they are now diluted potions of sickness. So this is a way that you can dilute potions, which just it makes sense. You dipped in the water. Okay. Let's try dipping those again, the diluted one.
And perhaps they will turn into water.
Right. Oh, they dilute further. Let's see what it says now.
Strong-ass potions.
Oh, yep, they're done. So, okay, a couple things here. So you now know how to create water from any potion. You can just dilute it until it becomes water. But here, a weird thing. This is kind of just a weird inventory thing of NetHack. Sometimes when you turn something into something that you already have, they won't combine automatically. I'm not really sure why that happens, but you can just adjust them to combine, which I recommend. So just adjust like you're going to change the key of one of them.
Which was
pound adjust.
Adjust.
Yeah. And then if you go to okay, I'm going to change capital D and then change it to whatever the other one is, it will just combine them.
I hit S. Okay.
So it just merges them. Alternatively, you can just drop it on the floor and re-pick it back up, and then it will combine with the other stack. It's just a little bit of an annoyance.
All right.
Um, okay, so one other thing. So since this is kind of the theme of the day, uh, you can let's try go into your inventory again.
Yep.
Let's see what you have in the way of scrolls.
I've got a few, not too many. I've got
You haven't really
three.
identified a whole lot of them,
I
and
have not.
so I worry about doing that. But without you actually doing it, basically you can dip a scroll in water for a similar effect, where it will basically erase the ink on the
Oh.
scroll, and it will become an unlabeled scroll. So this is a way that you can make blank scrolls out of
Now,
scrolls that are maybe worthless.
would they still be cursed, assuming it's not some special fountain?
They would.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to your potions here. What else do you have? I think. Oh yeah, you found a bunch of potions of booze.
Yep. I got
You
some
only have
booze.
one for some reason.
I think either the rest were cursed or I just got rid of them. I don't know why I got rid of them.
Possible. Okay. Well, anyway, so you have the five uncursed potions called water,
Yep.
right? In the same way that you dipped your potions in the fountain, any other source of water would work. So, like if you were somehow, if you fell into a pool of water, let's say, the same thing would happen, right? Like your items would be exposed to the water, and the same kind of interactions would happen.
Oh shit.
Also, you have potions that are water. So, like if you dipped your fizzy potion into one of your five uncursed potions called water, it would just do the same thing as it did when you dipped it into the fountain, and it would dilute your fizzy potion, but it would use up that potion of water.
Mm.
In the same way as I think I told you before with the fountain, when you were dipping for Excalibur, there's always a chance when you do anything with the fountain, like dip from it or drink it or whatever, that it might just dry
It
up and go away.
empties. Yeah, I've had that happen
Right.
doing less important things.
Um, so you can leave this fountain here for now. Basically, the last thing is you have a what you have in addition to your five regular things of water right now is
Blessed
you
water.
have a holy water.
Yeah.
So let's try dipping your five regular waters into your holy water and see what happens.
Oops. I hope it doesn't ruin my holy water.
It's going to consume your holy water, but that's okay.
Oh, that's what holy water sounds like. Oh shit, and they're all blessed.
So this is not a property that is unique to water. Anything that is dipped into holy water,
Is
uh,
becomes blessed.
it moves up, it ranks up in its BUC status.
I was kind of assuming that as soon as you intimated that the holy water, the blessed water was
Yeah,
a good item, I was like,
yeah.
okay, maybe I should be dipping some shit into this. I'm gonna try before you say anything, and you
Sure.
can watch.
Well, that's all I'm telling you. I've
You
told you
can
enough today.
you can watch me either do something really smart or really dumb. They're not cursed anymore.
The
Fuck
time has finally
yes.
come.
Fuck
But you
yes.
will notice that one of your potions has been consumed. So each time you do that, it consumes a potion. But you now know how to essentially turn any potions that you find into water, and subsequently. So getting holy water for the first time in a game, there's multiple ways to get it. You just got lucky and found it. But it's basically a huge milestone in the game. Like one of the things that you really aim to, at some point, you want to get your holy water going, because once you have it, as long as you're careful, you will always have it, right?
Mm.
Because you can create more.
So it looks like I can't do my mithril coat. Is it because it's too big?
Why is that? What did it say?
It just wasn't available as a.
I would say more likely it's because you have something on over it.
Because of the cloak.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do armor. Wait, no, armor, and take off my cloak. How confident were you that I was going to figure that out once you told me once you basically led me there?
I was hoping that you would.
Oh, that's dope. So happy. Are,
Sweet.
are you kind of sad that I'm not going to be stumbling around anymore, though?
No, no, it's good. It's good.
Can move a lot faster without
So
that shit.
you have a few left.
Hmm.
Uh, I would say um, one of the things I would recommend is so the reason I asked you to keep around your, and this is basically the, like the last piece I think of this kind of puzzle. Um, I would recommend keeping around that identify scroll so that you can try one of those on the identify scroll and use it and see what happens in that case.
Try one of the water on the identify scroll.
Right.
Hmm. It'll erase it, right?
It won't. If you dip it into normal water, it will do the normal water thing, but holy water
Oh,
is completely
it's
different and it
totally
has a
different.
special
Okay.
effect. Yeah.
Good to know. Let's see. Where is it? R.
So now let's try reading that.
Last scroll of identify. Ooh, is it going to let me identify multiple things?
Good guess.
Let's find out. What would you like to identify first?
I think it says that anyway, but
Ah, well, shit. I'm just gonna. Oh, okay,
just select one item actually.
okay. So it did actually like tell me. It showed that I could do four because it wouldn't let me
I
select
think it
another
will
one.
let you do that anyway,
Oh,
even if it's
hmm,
not, I believe. But just try
interesting.
doing one for now.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Look at that.
But yeah, so even if you don't select multiple items right off the bat, it will still come back and say, okay, you can do something next. So you only got two. It actually
Ooh,
can be more. It's possible.
a scroll of amnesia.
I don't recommend reading that,
Yeah, that seems like that could be real bad.
but a good candidate for blanking.
Yeah. All right, so I can go wherever the hell I want to go now, real
So did you
quick.
actually take off those gloves?
I didn't take them off. I just dipped them in, still in my hands.
Okay. Well, you're still fumbling around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think it was the fact that they were cursed.
Is it
It
just because
was,
they're padded gloves?
well, so what I would do is I would call now that you know, I would call whatever padded gloves are like fumble or whatever,
Stupid, stupid
Yeah,
ass gloves.
stupid gloves. Um, so that way, if you ever find a pair like this again, it's basically the same as anything else, right? Like these are aliases, just like scrolls or whatever else. It's a special type of gloves that happens to be a piece of crap, and you just got zapped with
Ooh,
magic missile.
it only did 5 damage, thankfully.
You're pretty tough, man.
Might have hurt Rocky a lot more than me.
I don't know. Rocky's pretty tough too.
He
Is
picks
there
up an elven spear.
is there a point in Creed where Sylvester Stallone gets zapped by a magic missile wand?
Look, you're doing your best not to spoil everything in NetHack for me. You want me to just go and spoil
Okay, all
Creed
right,
for
all right,
you?
all right. I'll watch it. I'll
I
watch
can't.
it.
I
But
can't tell you
that
about the magic
that
missile, man.
really that really would help my interest in the movie.
There's no spell casting, unfortunately. But
Dude,
you
how
can
how
you.
how amazing would it be to just like pull
Oh,
that on people, like to make a Rocky movie, but then like halfway through the movie, there's just like for some reason a crystal wand of magic missile is like one of the plot points in the movie.
have you ever seen John Carpenter's They Live?
I don't think so.
Oh man, well it's a classic '80s John Carpenter, and I wanted to describe my idea for someone making a game in the vein of that movie, but I won't spoil the magic of that game
Ooh, some good stuff there.
or that movie. Sorry, that's a great one though.
Yeah,
If you like anything, if you like Big Trouble in Little China,
absolutely. Yeah, I'll check it out.
then you'll like They Live. Yeah,
So wait, did you take off the gloves?
I did not take them off yet. I was
Okay, I recommend it. I
busy
recommend throwing
killing
those
those.
gloves away. Well, they'll never be found again. And then keep your eye out for another pair. Obviously, now that
Yeah.
you're down a pair.
It's too bad they are. Oh wait, they're -1. That's right.
Yeah, I think they're
These
crap.
gloves
I don't
just
think they're
these
either
gloves
doing
just
nothing for you or hurting you.
sucked. Well, I don't
Yeah,
feel too stupid because I couldn't take them off
yeah,
until
yeah.
we uncursed them. So not a total idiot. Huh, okay. Well, let's do that. Whee! Come on, Rocky. It seems like if you travel too far, your pets kind of just
Yeah,
like.
that's absolutely right. Actually, they're more likely, they're programmed to be more likely to come to you if they're in eye line and if they're close to you. And
Mm,
I think there might even be other aspects to it. One of the things that I do that I actually need to check. This is one of the things where like I would actually check the code for this because I'm not even sure. Well, maybe you could find it on a wiki or something. But like, I have this superstition where I always carry a tripe ration on me, because it's like the pet food, like the general pet food. And
hmm.
I have this idea that for some reason the tripe ration increases the chance that they'll move toward you if you have one. And I actually don't know if that's true. It might be something where it's just like NetHack logic. It kind of makes sense.
Right. Do you find yourself maybe earlier on when you were playing this game and didn't know it as intimately? Did you find yourself kind of overestimating its complexity with things like
It's
that?
That's actually hard to do, surprisingly. There's a term like if you look it up on the wiki or anything, or like any player that's played for a long time knows of like, you know, TDT, TOE or whatever. Like the dev team thought of everything, and it's just like anytime you have some kind of like you think of something that seems clever, like some clever interaction that involves five different steps of setting up this one particular scenario where you know it seems like something interesting should happen or whatever. Like it's always handled, there's a message for it, and it's like they thought of that even though it's so specific. Oh, this must be your
I found all my cursed shit.
yeah, this must be your cursed stuff.
Apparently, I dropped some food here. I
Did
don't know
this
why I did
person
that.
have any armor? Maybe you already took it.
I don't know if I did take it because either I took what I wanted or because this isn't the body, this is the altar.
Oh, okay.
Um, this is the
Yeah, I mean,
altar I took all this stuff to, and
I'm
then was like,
wondering if
oh, this is
maybe
all
they had.
garbage.
I'm wondering if maybe they had a
Some gloves,
gloves, right? Because even
quite
if they're
quite
cursed,
possibly.
you could you have a solution for that now.
Maybe I should. I wonder if I want to take these
Oh,
scrolls.
sorry. So I did sort of give you some bad information earlier. You asked if, like for instance, you dipped something that was cursed and diluted it, or sorry, like you dipped a cursed scroll if it would become a normal scroll.
Uh huh.
That's actually not true for scrolls, but it actually is true for potions. Presumably, like I guess lore wise, it would be the actual potion that's cursed and not the flask, whereas the scroll, it's like the
It's
actual
the
piece of paper.
parchment. Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So if you dilute a cursed potion, it actually does become normal.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. That would actually that makes a lot of sense because if it wasn't that way, any time the first time you found a blessed potion, you'd be in good shape.
Mm.
But because you could just dilute it and have holy water, but it doesn't work that way.
I wonder if I want to take any of this stuff with me
I mean, you can
because
always come back. So
yeah,
I would say anything that's not of immediate use, don't even worry about
don't
it.
think about it.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to something you were just talking about a minute ago, where when you were talking about the tripe ration that you carry around
Yeah.
superstitiously, um, and you said that you would actually look. Oh, unicorn! You would actually look in the code for that. Is that something you've done with NetHack
Yeah,
before?
absolutely. Oh yeah, and I think any player, even like I'm a programmer by trade, but I think even players who aren't interested in programming or have ever programmed before, that play the game enough, like to the point where there's certain questions that are like the wiki is really good now. It's better than it's ever been, and you can find almost any information that you could possibly want on there, or you could ask the IRC or whatever. But there are some things that are like so arcane or like just so specific that really the only way to answer the question fully is just to look up what the actual code is doing. And the code, like, it gets blasted for being, for being kind of like old and not written in the best way or whatever, but it's actually pretty easy to follow. I mean, obviously for me, because I do it for a living, but I think even somebody who's not like super experienced with programming, they could probably find and figure out most things just by digging in there for long enough.
Can I not name one of my pets?
You can.
Is it Monster?
Yep.
It's not. Why not?
Nice.
So I can't remember. Did I ask before about you being a programmer and how that affects your enjoyment of NetHack? Whether it does. I can't remember if we
Well,
talked
I
about that, but I had it in mind to talk about. I can't remember if we did.
I did have an expectation that everybody, like when I was in college, I thought surely like every programmer that I ever work with, once I get into some kind of industry, programming games or doing whatever else, will be a NetHack player or will know what NetHack is. Definitely not the case. I kind of saw it as like, like a nerdy sort of like programmer type people would play this game.
I mean, it definitely seems like a game that people who really enjoy programming would be into
You'd think.
somewhat naturally.
Think. Haven't had much success getting coworkers into NetHack. I've tried.
You've had one or two, right?
I did have one. Yeah. I've had one person who actually was a coworker get into it enough to the point where they actually ascended characters. That was the only person in my entire life that I've ever had get into it to that extent. I'm hoping that you can be the second.
We're not technically coworkers, but yeah.
Well, just person in general.
Yeah.
That person did happen to be a coworker, but
No gloves.
gloves are weirdly kind of rare. Probably
There's some old gloves.
other than a shirt, it's probably the rarest slot.
I guess I can take these and go curse test them.
So one thing I will say is like, like I said, all these things are kind of aliases for different types of gloves or whatever. You obviously have no
Oh shit!
Lack of food.
It's a horse.
Oh my god, you're fainted, dude. The horse is kicking your ass. You're too hungry.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna eat.
You're like
first.
eating while this horse is bucking you.
Dang. I need to eat this horse.
You probably haven't. That probably is like a partially eaten food ration now because you couldn't take more than a bite, I think, before you got bucked by the horse. So if you look in your inventory, yeah, you might want to just finish that one off. Guess it doesn't matter, but
V. All right, I am definitely gonna need to keep an eye out for the food.
yeah. Anyway, so as I was saying, you found that pair of old gloves. Obviously, you don't really have a concept of like how many different types of gloves there are in the game yet, or whatever. But like
Right.
one thing you do know is you certainly have at least identified one of the bad gloves, right? So
Padded gloves. Fuck those.
depending on how many there possibly are, you've at least identified one, and this is not that type. So you can at least have some assurance from that.
Well, these aren't cursed, so that's nice. Brought me down one armor class.
No. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Increase your armor.
Yes.
By taking.
I'm in
yeah.
negative territory, so yeah. So when the first time that you jumped into the NetHack code and started looking around, how old were you?
Well, so like I said before, I didn't actually get
Whoa.
into NetHack to the point of like, okay, I'm serious about this. I'm really going to try to beat this until um, basically early college. And so I was already in like computer science program at that point.
And were you looking for anything in particular, or were you just
The first time I think I just looked at it just to see because it's open source. So, and I was like interested in anything programming at that point because I was in the computer science program and learning that stuff for the first time.
damn, where's my other freaking cat?
And at that point, I actually did want to program games. So I was early in my career.
What changed your mind about that?
The game industry, having friends get into the game industry and tell me how it was.
Because you're probably the most, if not the most passionate game player that I know, definitely up there.
Yeah, I mean that's actually part of it though, and I'm really happy that I didn't. Part of it is that like games are like the most important thing to me, like the most sacred passion that I have to me, and it's such a shame because I have a lot of friends who I grew up playing games with all the time, who now work in the industry, in the game industry, in different roles, and they don't really play games anymore. Like they're just so sick of them.
It's hard to make what you do for a living,
Right.
for it to stay fun.
Right, right. So like for me it's like, I'll do little game projects on the side and things like that, but I never want that to be like I never want to be that the grind that I am forced to do in my life as for a job, because then that really gets in the way of it being like my primary fun thing to do.
It's an owl bear. What are owl bears a reference to? Because it's got to be something that I'm
Owlbear
not
is also is truly a Dungeons and
a
Dragons
D and
thing. That
D.
was one of
Okay.
the original Dungeons and Dragons monsters, probably from that pack of prehistoric monsters.
I'm sure there's someone, or probably multiple someone's watching this who are very knowledgeable D&D players and are like just grimacing every time I'm like, what's a blah blah blah?
The owlbear is a classic, man. Everybody knows the owlbear.
Except for me, apparently. A bag and some gold. I'll take that. Oops. Can I open the bag?
It's a tool, so you'd apply it. The last one that you tried to open was a bag of tricks, and
Oh
it
yeah,
created
I
a bunch
forgot
of
about that.
monsters.
That was fun. Take something out. It's empty. Okay. Ah, let's see. Do I want to dip anything in here and turn it into water? I've got the booze and then 4 potions that I know nothing about.
I definitely don't recommend blanking anything that you don't know yet because it might be like the best thing in the game, right?
Could be great, yeah.
You just don't know.
Fair enough. Oh, well, that answers that question. Take a drink and it's gone.
It was a crap fountain. Did you actually search there
Where?
to find this door? That was a hidden door. It wasn't there, I think.
I
Can
didn't
you
hit.
wait, actually can you control P to see if I'm right about that? Yeah.
Huh.
So you
I,
found a hidden door. You didn't
I,
search for it.
no, I did not.
Very interesting.
Is that interesting?
Well, you didn't search for it. Normally, you will not find anything hidden unless you press that search key. But in this case, you did,
Is it because
which is
I'm?
it's a great effect to have.
Is that because I'm so blessed?
It might be.
God loves me.
I can't tell you because I already told you the thing for the day.
So, do you think? Yeah, I totally get the your lack of interest in working, at a game studio or something with wanting to keep games something that you really can have fun playing. Do you think the same thing would apply if you were just making your own stuff, um,
Um,
on your
no,
own schedule?
no, it doesn't. But I also never get anything done because I can't commit to. It's like like I said before, I have lots of like game ideas and I have, developed little things here and there. I've made a couple of like little puzzle games and stuff like that. But any like big idea that I have, uh, I work on it for a while and then that's it. One of my favorite things to program on the side actually is board games. I'm also really into board games. And part of the problem is that like, for a job, like at my job when I program, like I have to do whatever needs to be done, right? So if that means spending a bunch of time making something usable to a bunch of people, like I do that and that's fine. It's part of my job. But as a personal hobby, I hate doing that. Like I have a lot of fun programming a board game and programming all of the rules out of the instruction manual and making everything function. But to actually make it usable by somebody and spend a bunch of time like doing all of the air handling and input and user interface is insanely boring to me. So like all of my board game projects that I've made, in fact, it's kind of almost become like a personal joke to me and like other programmers that I know, is that like they're insanely arcane and they could never be played by anybody but me on a command line, right? Because it's just like there's just symbols and I mean it's basically like NetHack board game style.
It's
Um,
is that entirely your laziness, or are you partially drawn to
I am
NetHack
partially
style,
not necessarily
complexity?
NetHack style, but just symbology. Like I do actually find you know there to be something interesting about like making a complex system, boiling it down to as few symbols as possible. Like, because to me, or of course, if I spent an hour explaining it to somebody, they could understand it. But like, I don't know. I find that kind of compelling, but it's also kind of a joke too.
Footsteps of a guard. Interesting. When you first started really playing like NetHack, Dwarf Fortress, things like that, did you kind of realize you were into that stripped down element of it coming from, I know you've played tons of console games and, RPGs and that kind of thing that's, often
Yeah,
the
I mean,
focus is on much flashier graphics.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm a huge snob, but I'm also like, I like anything that's good. So, I still have, like, I have a PlayStation 4 that I play all the time. And, like, I don't necessarily automatically hate anything that's a AAA title. I mean, the Souls games are, like, my favorite thing ever right now. And those are unique AAA titles, but they're still AAA titles.
Dark
Um,
Souls 3 PC.
can't
So
wait, man.
excited. So
But
excited.
yeah, so like I have nothing against those kind of games, but I do think like in general, I do absolutely hate anything that is a terrible, like just a terrible, boring, samey experience that has nothing to offer except for a multi-million dollar budget that has made it look very pretty and it's very popular because of that. And I think there's tons of those kind of games where it's like it's the same exact gameplay experience as a million other games, but they're still very popular because they're very realistic looking. So it's not necessarily, I don't care what the graphics are like or whatever. And I can appreciate good graphics, but like that does not a good game make for me.
Come on, Rocky. Need to leash this sucker.
But like this is a game like Dwarf Fortress and NetHack are perfect examples of like games where I actually feel like there's nothing really snobby about it. I mean, I'm snobby about it, but there's nothing necessarily snobby about it. It's just there certainly are things that these games do that would be insanely difficult, if not impossible, to replicate with any kind of graphics, right? Because like there's so many other things that you can do when you're representing a lot of things as a symbol that would just take so much time and effort and planning around just kind of making art assets for it and animations and things like that.
Sure.
When it's just represented by a single symbol, and that's why Dwarf Fortress is like one of the most complex video game experiences ever created, and it's also programmed by one guy. Um, I don't think it would be possible without that.
So what about like the tile sets that people have made for those games? It's kind of different because you're not talking extra animation and that kind of
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, it's just representing one symbol with another.
Yeah.
And I also don't use those tile sets. I don't like them. I prefer the characters, but um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's just a different form of symbology.
So there's definitely something else on this floor because I've been hearing clanks and there was a guard somewhere, but I do not know how to find it.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. You're right. It definitely does mean something. Those messages are never for nothing.
So let's see, where are we now? We're on level 8th floor. A chest. Ooh. Oh yeah, it's loot. Come on, Jesus. Get out of the way.
Rocky is cramping your style today, man.
Ooh, some tripe rations.
Maybe Rocky will be more obedient if you hold those.
Maybe he will.
I honestly don't know if the answer is yes or no.
So, did you ever find any interesting stuff digging around in the code? NetHack code?
Yeah. I mean, I found answers to particular questions that I had. Oh,
Whoa!
look at that.
Wow.